What's going on, guys? Mike here, back again with Renegade Forex, and this is a trade breakdown from March 22nd, Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. And I'm filming this actually a day after because I completely forgot to do a breakdown of these two winning trades from that specific trading day from yesterday. And so, yeah, I just want to do a quick video breaking these two trades down. And letting you know why I took them and why I exited and everything like that. So I actually, this has happened 2 days in a row now. I've actually missed confirmation entries like right before I sit down in the morning. So I'm going to probably end up adjusting my routine a little bit and sitting down maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes earlier. But I actually missed this position right in here. And that would have been a potential valid trade to have taken had you entered using confirmation entries. So at this point in time, once the trade, following the price action here, you can see that there was actually a potential trade, two different ways that you could have taken it. From this little swing pullback right here, you could have gotten a pending order entry right here. Geez, that's huge. Right around here, and targeted this next low or predetermined risk amount. So if you use a predetermined risk reward to take your profit at, then you could have done that as well. And so when I missed this trade and sat down right in this area and saw this running, I knew that as soon as price broke here, this now became the next swing high. And so that was allowing me to frame these two trades. And that's kind of giving like the groundwork as to why I was trading or why I placed a buy here and then a sell. And yeah, let's go ahead and kind of break it down a little bit further. So at this point in time, let's just look at the 5 minute here. I just lost my spot. There it is. So on the 5 minute, just to give a little bit better and clearer picture, you could have refined this 5 minute supply zone up to that, just this one 5 minute candle that's right here. And the break structure right here, pull back, mitigate that supply zone, continuation, break of structure. And so at this point in time, once price traded down here, pulled back, traded again, and it technically, I guess, did break structure. However, I'm not trying to get into a trade in this area after we've already had this huge expansion. So I'm assuming in this area that eventually we're going to start pulling back, at which point in time right here, we do get a change of character on the 5 minute, which indicates that the swing structure is pulling back up into at least the swing high, if not continuing like we can see it did later on in the day. But I'm not going to break this down because, that's a little bit, that's going to be a lot more in depth than what, these trade breakdown videos are. At this point in time, at the change of character, essentially what I'm trading here is this 5 minute demand zone. So if you were trading just pending orders, you could have placed a pending order right here and targeted up into this 5 minute supply zone right here. And that's essentially all I'm doing, but I was doing it on the 1 minute time frame, and I was very aggressive with that, which I'll explain in just a minute. And it was a total of a 1 to 3 or 1 to 3.2, depending on how you exit on your broker. Let's drop back down to the 1 minute, and I'll show you that really quick. So we do have the 5 minute change of character that you can see here. Price pulls back. It accumulates a little bit here, goes a little lower to mitigate an even more refined zone here. So if for whatever reason you're watching the 1 minute and you thought that was an appropriate area to set a pending order, you could set one here. At which point price comes down, mitigates that, comes back up, and gives the tiniest little 1 minute change of character again. So if you look right here, and here, that's a 1 minute change of character. That basically what I see when I'm looking at this, it tells me that price is likely going to continue back this direction. So yes, there is a change of character right here. That just gives us the sign that the swing pullback on the 1 minute is starting, but it doesn't, as you can see, like nothing happens. Like it just ranges for quite a while. And then this one big candle causes the change of character, which says, okay, it's back. We're back pro the 1 minute trend, which is counter the 5 minute trend, which I realize this is going to get a little bit confusing for some newer traders, but back pro trend on the 1 minute. with this change of character. And so at that point in time, I saw this change of character and was like, I don't know, that's pretty risky because I really don't like to trade like this, but I was feeling it. I was feeling aggressive on this day, and I placed the pending order right at the top of this newly created demand zone. And the actual order was filled like, I don't know, a few micro pips or whatever that is. Maybe that is like a couple pips. Let's see. So my pending order was right there, but I was actually filled like half a pip down from that by the time the order filled. And my stop loss was just below the low of this demand zone. And so the pending order was triggered, and price bounced around for a few candles before actually, obviously pretty aggressively on the 1 minute selling or buying up to the supply zone. And so at this point in time, right when I saw this wick right here forming, I can't remember exactly if it was this wick or if it was inside this candle, but regardless, when I saw this zone get wicked, I was like, all right, I'm out. I'm just going to be really aggressive with this. I'm going to take it. I'm not going to target this high because I know that this is counter trend. I'm not going to target this supply zone because it could very easily, mitigate something in this wick or in this bigger supply zone, and it doesn't necessarily have to hit the refined zone. And it could sell off, at which point, if it did, I'd look for a confirmation entry to go short again back down to this low. But at that point in time, I had actually closed my order somewhere right around in here. I just clicked the X on MetaTrader and was just out 100%. So somewhere in this general area was that close trade, that take profit. And I also at that time I usually, when I'm watching price this closely, I usually keep a pending order on like the perfect POI that I'd be willing to take a pending order on without any kind of confirmation. So like I realize like I'm using pending orders down here, but that's because of a confirmation entry. If news or something happened from here and spiked up and then sold way off, I would be totally happy to take that trade without any kind of confirmation, without watching price action. And so that's why a lot of the times I'll just keep a pending order at like the most perfect, extreme, high risk to reward setup, is in case I miss it for some reason, or I'm not, at the charts, like if I'm, taking a break, getting another cup of coffee or whatever, I'll keep that there. And so right at that point in time, price actually triggered my pending sell limit that was right here. It sold off, gave a change of character. And at this point in time, I was not necessarily convinced that we were actually going to sell off because I really like to always see another failed higher high. And so we got that on the 1 minute right here. And let me just let me move this out so that this thing gets out of the way. So price filled the order right here, stop loss right above this this high. I always give a little bit more room for my spread on sell orders. So this was a 2 pip stop loss, which is still nothing. And yeah, so triggered here, and with the pending order, but there's quite a few ways you could have entered this trade, which I'll break that down here. And I knew that it was pretty likely, especially with having the open of the New York session. This is actually going into the lunch hour of New York. A lot of the times price consolidates and it actually doesn't move as freely as it does pre-market. So this is all like pre-market, pre-New York. And you can see prices like really moving, but there's a lot of periods during the actual open of the New York session where we just range and we accumulate a lot before we actually move. And so I knew it was pretty unlikely that this was just going to be a nice, smooth trade. And also every trade I take, every confirmation trade I take, I like to see that failed higher high. So we have a reaction from supply, attempted rally up, which can be either called a failed higher high, a liquidity grab. If you're familiar with Wyckoff, this can be an upthrust or any of those, any of the like titles that are on the schematics. And then after that, price comes back down and it gives us a change of character right here, which is what I had actually marked here. And so at this point in time, this should be a 5 minute change of character. Let's see really quick, make sure I'm right. Yeah, so right here, just ignore this stuff here. I'm gonna go over this in just a minute. But at this point in time, so trade this buy up, we have a reaction, we have a rally that just wicks that high, and then price trades back down and it wicks this 5 minute low, which is in a 5-minute change of character. So at that point in time, if you're looking for a confirmation trade, you would know, okay, it's very, the probability is in my favor that that trade is going to go in my direction. And so let me just move this back here. We can see that after the change of character, price does rally back up and it wicks this newly created supply zone. And so that right there is your confirmation entry. You could have set a pending order right there with your stop loss right above it and taken that trade right there if you were more patiently waiting for the confirmation trade. Like I said, I took the pending order, and so this trade lasted, let's see, depending on your entry, it was about 45 or no, it's about 50 minutes to this actual low. And sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I do get pretty impatient with these kind of trades. I start to think about, well, I should just close it. Maybe I should just, walk away, wait for it to do its thing without me looking at the chart, all that kind of stuff. And that's just all part of trading. So you need to come up with a part of your trade plan that is how you're going to react to zones like this. If you don't want to miss moves that do happen, if you want to get wick entries like this that just immediately sell off, then you need to be okay with taking a risk entry on something like this. If you are fine missing really impulsive moves, then you can wait for a confirmation move. It really is up to you. And that's the beauty of smart money, is that there's many different ways to trade. So at this point in time, that was a total of, let's see, about 9R, depending on how you measure it. Total of 9R for the day. And that's obviously a wonderful day. And that's also within, let's see, so not counting the time that I was actually sitting down trading, just in and out of those trades, that's like an hour and a little over an hour and like 10 minutes, depending on where you exactly enter and how you do it. So in an hour and 10 minutes of trading, getting 9R, that's a beautiful day. And I had a great day. Right after this low, let's talk about the take profit before I forget. At this low right here, let's see, let me refresh really quick on, okay. So I didn't know if we were going to actually reverse from these points here. So I didn't know at this point in time if price was actually going to trade all the way down here. And originally when I was, trading this, my original take profit was down to this low down here for a total of a 1 to 8 trade. But I did see, or I did feel as though in the higher time frame price action on the 15-minute and the 1 hour chart, that this was a pretty low in the leg. And if you look back at some of the other trade breakdowns in the daily analysis from previous days, I was actually considering that it was possible that price actually trades way back up into the 4-hour supply zone that we're rejecting. And so if you want to check that out, you can just look for the correlating dates on the daily analysis. But at this point in time, right when it took this low, I thought to myself, I wonder if I'm just trading a pullback on one of the higher time frames, if this is just a reaction before a continuation of a trend reversal. And so right at this point in time right here, I thought that to myself. And then like within 4 candles later, I got this change of character and it retraced down. And I said, as soon as I saw this change of character, I was like, okay, if price gives me any kind of sign at all that this is not going to continue, I'm out. And so I saw this wick develop, and I saw, these candles trade into this wick. And somewhere in here, I don't remember exactly where, but it was like somewhere in these 2 wicks, I actually exited my entire position. And so it's up to you on how you take your partials, but I had taken a big partial at this low, and then saw this reversal and exited. And I just walked away for the day because I don't need to, I don't care what happens after I get my, a satisfying amount of reward from trading. And that was a really good day. I didn't take any losses. This was really quick. I was spot on most of my analysis. Obviously, I didn't clear this low, but who cares? So yeah, that's the trade analysis or the winning breakdown for March 23rd, 2023. Hope you enjoy it.